Once upon a time in a village in Africa, there lived a very clever man. He was so clever that whenever he went to the market, he would buy things and put them in his hut. And the next day he would go to the market and sell those things at a higher price, so he became rich. One day he went to the market and saw a frog and took it home and put it in a small enclosure made of sticks and leaves. The next day he took the frog to the market and said, "Who wants to buy a magic frog?" The people asked, "What's so magical about this frog?" He said, "This frog is very beautiful. Look how shiny its back is." But the people were not interested. They asked, "Why should we buy this frog? Can it do anything?" He said, "Yes, it can do many amazing things. It can tell fortunes, find treasures, and even grant wishes." The people laughed at him and asked, "Are you serious? Do you really think we're fools? We know very well that frogs can't do any of those things." Then he said, "Okay, if you don't want to buy this magic frog, then at least lend me some money so that I can buy some food for it because it hasn't eaten for days." People felt sorry for the frog and also for the man, so they lent him some money and let him go. He went to a nearby lake and put the frog into it. The frog immediately jumped out of his hands and said, "Thank you for setting me free." The man was very angry and said, "You were supposed to do magic for me. You were supposed to bring me treasures and help me become richer than the richest man in town." The frog said, "I am a water spirit. I turned myself into a frog so that I could live among humans and help them. But you found me and wanted to own me. Had you put me in a nice enclosure and treated me well, I would have helped you. But since you wanted to use me for your selfish purposes, I won't help you. In fact, I will turn you into a frog, and you will live the rest of your life as a frog." Then the man started crying and begging, "Please don't turn me into a frog, but please keep me as a human. I promise I will never, ever try to harm a water spirit again." The frog said, "Well, I don't want to keep you as a human either because you don't deserve that, but I can make a deal with you. If you can stay in this lake without eating anything for 3 days and 3 nights, I will return you back into a human form." The man had no other option, so he agreed to the deal. He stayed in the lake for 3 days and 3 nights. But just as the frog had predicted, he didn't eat anything during these 3 days. On the 3rd night, when the moon was high up in the sky, he heard a voice that said, "You have stayed hungry in the lake for 3 days and 3 nights. Now close your eyes and make a wish." The man closed his eyes and wished to become the richest man in the village. Immediately, his body started itching. He scratched his body and his skin started falling off. When he looked down, he saw that he had turned into a frog. He cried out loud, but no one could hear him. He tried to jump out of the lake, but he couldn't. He spent the rest of his life as a frog. The villagers came to the lake the next morning to see if the man had turned into a frog. But they only saw a frog sitting on a stone. They couldn't believe that the clever man had been turned into a frog. They all felt sorry for him and started throwing food into the lake for him. From that day on, the frog never went hungry, but he missed his human form and cried every night. Now, whenever you see a frog, especially a big one, remember the story of the greedy man and don't make fun of the frogs. Also remember that frogs usually live for 20 years, but this frog was already 200 years old. The reason it was so big